morning, everybody. Y'all can continue to eat. Feel free to get up and move about as you please. I'm Jacqueline Graves. I'm with the Greater Owensboro Chamber of Commerce. And on behalf of the Chamber and Davis County Farm Bureau, welcome to the 41st Annual Farm City Breakfast. We look forward to this event every year from a Chamber perspective. We love being able to get together with you all to kind of merge our city and county, and it's just such a great morning. So thank you for being here this morning. We really appreciate y'all, appreciate what you do, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here and for us to get to fellowship together. To get things started, if Joshua Kegel could come up, he is our Apollo FFA president. And even though you're already eating, I think it's just fine that we are going to have our invocation. Thank you, sir.
All right, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us all be able to come here this morning. Thank you for letting us be able to get up. Please be with us as we go throughout our weeks this week. Help us to be safe, and please bless this food and nourishment of our body. In your name we pray. Amen.
The rest of our FFA wants to come up. If you all will please stand, we are going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. Flags right here to your left.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So this was FFA week, is that right? So we got here to set up yesterday, and you will kind of see that they had like Spirit Week for FFA week. I really think next year, if we do this in the same week, we should have a theme day for today. They had like Drive Your Tractor to School Day. There was Furry Friday. I'm not really sure what that is, but sounds fun. And there was America Day, which I love. Like, can you imagine Rod Kegel in like a cut-off, sleeveless, like American flag tank top with like some little Daisy Dukes and a red bandana? Rod, I think you can make it work. I don't know where you are. It's on you. I think you could do it. Now we're all picturing that. I'm so sorry. If I could please just introduce our special guest that we have here. If you all want to stand when I say your name, and then we'll give you a round of applause. We have Congressman Brett Guthrie here. We always appreciate you taking the time. Mark Lord from Congressman Guthrie's office as well. Majority Caucus Chair, Kentucky State Representative Suzanne Miles. Thank you. Former Kentucky State Representative DJ Johnson is here. I know I've seen him somewhere. There he is. Thank you. Also, Mayor Pro Tem Larry Maglinger. City Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright. City Commissioner Larry Conder. Judge Executive Al Mattingly. County Commissioner Charlie Caslin. County Commissioner George Wathen. Sheriff Keith Kane. Always look for the cowboy hat, sir. County Clerk Leslie McCarty is here as well. Also from the Owensboro Public School Board, we have Jeremy Edge. And from the Davis County Public School Board, Frank Ronnie, James Morgan, and Dale Stewart. Did I miss anyone? No? Thank you all very much for being here. I will say that we're very lucky to have such an engaged group of legislators. They always show up, and we appreciate you so much. So thank you so much for being here. Now we are going to announce our yield contest winners, and you will always see these on your placemats as well. Your 2019 Davis County King Corn Production Contest winner, McKay Farms, 324.09 bushels per acre. Great job. Also, your 2019 Davis County Boss Bean Production Contest winner. Who's naming these? These are awesome. Fisher Cross Creek Farms at 101.77 bushels per acre. Awesome. And your 2019 Davis County Elite Wheat Production Contest winner, Jeff Koch, with 114.73 bushels per acre. That's great. I've never won a yield contest, but I was Miss Milan No-Till in 1989, and I feel like that's important today. The dress it doesn't fit, so we're not going to go there, for sure. Miss No-Till, that's a farming thing, Tina. If anybody wants to tell Tina what no-till is later, she could use that. I also want to recognize our Chamber Ag Committee members. If you are here, please stand. I know you're here. I've seen you. There you go. There they are. Please give them a round of applause. We appreciate working with these fine folks throughout the year and the dedication that they have to their craft and to the chamber world. So we appreciate that. At this time, if you will please help me to welcome Congressman Brett Guthrie, who has a few words for you. It's like Tetris.
Thanks. The puzzle, come on down, right? Thank you, and a few words is the key to it, right? So thanks so much for allowing me to be here today. I got in last night from Washington. A lot of people in this room were in Washington this week, and it was great to have Farm Bureau, different groups there. And the number one issue that has been in the farm ag community is trade, particularly trade with China. And you know, we're all excited when the president actually got the first phase of the China deal signed. It seemed to give some relief. But now we're in the unknown of what's going on with coronavirus. And let me just say, because I know there's been a lot of my colleagues saying things on television and a lot of news reports. We have been preparing for this since it first broke out in China. I have been in bipartisan, both sides of the aisle. I'm on the committee that oversees the Center for Disease Control, and we've been briefed almost daily on what they're doing to prepare. And what they said in the very first meeting is, we're going to prepare for a pandemic. The American people expect that. That's what their government should do. But as we prepare, it's going to give a signal that we're getting ready for something bad, which we are, even though we don't expect anything that bad to happen. And so we need to calm people down. So the president's kind of in a tough situation. He has to oversee getting ready for the worst while trying to let people know we're not at the worst now. We're not there now. So it's confusing, and I get it. I asked our Health and Human, so I just want to share this. I say that to say this. Our Health and Human Services Secretary, Centers for Disease Control, the point we're at today, as Americans today, now it's different in other parts of the world, is it's just like any other respiratory illness that you would prepare for. So wash your hands, cough in your sleeve. I mean, all the things that they would tell you to do for the don't touch your face, do for the flu. That's where we are. It shouldn't disrupt any of your daily lives. Watch where you travel if you're going to go overseas, but it shouldn't disrupt anything you're doing today. Having said that, the virus is unknown. There are a lot of things we don't know about it, how it's going to mutate, how it's going to move. So it is absolutely appropriate that we prepare at the level we're preparing for. But currently, it's not something that you should every morning wake up and worry about what's going to happen in your daily routine. Just be hygienic. I mean, that's what they're saying now. And I will guarantee you from our standpoint, on our website, whatever, as things change, if things change, which we hope and pray they don't, but if they do change, we will certainly make sure you're up to speed. But the current situation, particularly in this area, is that it does not rise to the level that we should be changing our daily behavior as we operate within Kentucky. Now, if you're trying to go on a cruise somewhere, you might want to think about it. Depends on where you're going. But even cruises, depends on where you're going on a cruise. But certainly, and you're going to school, going to work, going to the farm, doing what you do. Right now, we're in good shape here. The caveat is it could change, and so we're very cognizant of it, but not now. So thank you very much. Thanks for having me here. I look forward to the speaking this morning. Thanks.
We appreciate Congressman Guthrie being here, as always. He always shows up. That's important to us, for sure. And now, with some greetings from the Davis County Farm Bureau Federation, please welcome the president of Davis County Farm Bureau, Joan Hayden.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Davis County Farm Bureau, I want to welcome you all to the 2020 Farm City Breakfast. In 2019, Kentucky Farm Bureau celebrated 100 years. That's a great mile marker there, and we're very excited about the next 100 years, although I'm sure I won't be there for that celebration. Some of you may, but I doubt it. But anyway, we are very committed to our community. We are your friends. We are your neighbors. We're your pew mates. I mean, that's where we are. We're part of you. And our theme this year is Stronger Together, and we are stronger together. Once again, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Have a great time.
Thanks, Joan. And now, with some greetings from the Chamber, President and CEO, and my favorite boss, Candace Castlin-Brake.
Well done there, Jacqueline. You all may have heard Jacqueline say at the beginning that we like to merge city and county. Just want to let you know, no, we don't, okay? Off the table. We just like to be together. It's a great time to be here today. I see so many people that we come out and see. We don't see often enough. Our friends, our family, our neighbors from the past and the present. And Joan, you said it right, and we are better together. You know, we are better united. And that is one thing that we are so blessed in this community to have, is so many partners. The Kentucky Farm Bureau, the Davis County Farm Bureau, and our Chamber of Commerce are working together every day. The staff there and our staff, we're almost like each other's staffs together. We're one staff making this community better. We want to thank you all for the opportunity to be a part of this partnership. Farm Bureau's been here for 100 years. Our chamber's been here since 1913, and farming's been here in Davis County for 100 years past that. And it just goes to show you where we all come from. We all come from the same place, and we're all headed in the same direction, hopefully. So thank you for being here. I do want to talk about talent and innovation for just a moment, and I'd like for the FFA kids that are here to listen. The Chamber of Commerce and the Farm Bureau are here to grow our brighter tomorrow, but we cannot do it without you guys. This community needs you. We need you to go and get your education and come back here and lead us. This is where the brightest talent is, and I'm telling you, our future is bright. We've got several chamber board members here today that I'd like to introduce, and if they would stand, I would appreciate it. Buzz Backstrom from Boardwalk, Steve Johnson from Owensboro Health, Rod Kegel from Kegel Farms, Jimmy Staten is here from Southern Star, Brenda Clayton is here, and Larry Maglinger, who's our Mayor Pro Tem, we call him MPT, and Brian Wright from the Owensboro River Port Authority. We also have Gavin Roberts, who is here, who's a former chamber board chair, many chamber board members that are here, and also former chamber president and CEO, Amy Jackson from German American Bank. Again, it's our pleasure to serve this community, and always a great time. You make us better, Farm Bureau. You make us better farmers. Together, we're going to make this community even better than we are today. Bye-bye.
And now to introduce our speaker, a very big friend of the chamber. We always love to ask her to do lots of fun things for us and with us. She's such a great partner. She's a chamber ad committee chair. That's the part that was important that I was just going to skip over. And she's also the founder and owner of White Chateau and Cecil Farms Produce LLC. Please welcome Suzanne Cecil White.
Good morning. Kirby Green, field sales representative for DeKalb and Asgrow at Bayer Crop Science, was recently recognized as the national winner of the American Farm Bureau Federation's Young Farmers and Ranchers Excellence in Agriculture Award. Kirby was raised on her family's farm in Breckenridge County, Kentucky, and lived, breathed, and worked on the farm from a very early age. Active in FFA, Kirby previously served as state FFA president for Kentucky. In addition to her work at Bayer Crop Science, she hosts a podcast, a very intriguing podcast, for young professionals called Sharpen. Kirby holds a Bachelor of Science and Master's of Science degrees in agriculture from Murray State University. She and her husband Tyler have 2 daughters, Cora and Caroline. And not only is Kirby a national award winner, a mom of 2, a hard worker, Kirby is a community builder and an encourager. Personally, she serves on what I call my personal board of directors, and we meet quarterly for what I call possibility sessions. Because when I leave those little meetings with her that we schedule, I feel 10 feet tall and full of ideas and seeing all the possibilities that are there. So help me in welcoming this morning's featured speaker, Kirby Green.
Good morning. Well, when I was asked to speak at the Farm City breakfast, a couple of thoughts crossed my mind. Number one, where are you, Gavin Roberts? He's in the back. Okay, when Gavin called and he shared previous speakers such as powerhouse senators and Harvard graduates, now I think youngest commissioner of ag, I kind of at first wondered if Siri confused his southern accent accent by accident and called me, and he just had to roll with it and be like, yeah, we'd like for you. But then my second thought that crossed my mind was the words farm city, and it took me to the year 2013. So in January of 2013, my husband and I moved from the town of Mayfield, Kentucky to Indianapolis, Indiana. So before I go any further, Tyler would want me to publicly announce that Owensboro, Kentucky is not Western Kentucky, it is Central Kentucky. Having grown up in Mayfield, he is convinced this is Central Kentucky. But back to the story. So Indianapolis is not on the other side of the globe or anything like that. However, we were leaving a town and moving to somewhere where at first I thought my next house would come with a clothesline. And then we moved to Indianapolis, Indiana. So we were the epitome of farm to city. We moved to Carmel, Indiana, and our neighbors thought we were some of the most interesting people that they knew because we came home from work dirty. And so they were really eager to get to know us. But during that time, we went to church with, became friends with people that had always known the city. May it be Indianapolis or somewhere else around the globe. And at first we were skeptical. I mean, what in the heck would we have in common with these people, two country kids? And we really loved the Colts, but then we realized that they weren't talking about horse country, but a football team. We realized that there were some differences, and I'm kidding about that. Tyler would want me to make sure I added that in. But we learned in those years that beautiful connections could take place with people that grew up in totally different environments, which leads me to today. What a wonderful event. And how many years? 41? Congratulations. 41 years of getting together folks who live in the same county and have different roles in the community. That is remarkable. And to do so, we usually say breaking bread, but in this case, we're breaking biscuits and cinnamon rolls, which is far superior in my opinion. And to share common ground. So common ground, you're going to hear those words over and over. And if you leave with one thing today, it's common ground. So I often find myself standing in the middle of these two communities. So a little bit about me. By day, I help farmers grow their crops, specifically corn and soybeans. I'm a part of leading our Women in the Field organization at Bayer Crop Science. And then I serve as that liaison between what takes place in St. Louis in the labs and the offices to what takes place in the field. I work with our headquarters pretty often on that. I host a podcast, as Suzanne mentioned, which has an audience from across the globe, from very large cities to really small rural communities. In short, I really like to grow things: crops, people, relationships. And, as a millennial, we sometimes call our crowds our people, or you'll hear people say our tribe. Well, my people or my tribes are very different. And I love that. I love that. So, the headlines would convince us that we have drastic differences. But here's what I know. We care about our communities. We care about our next generation. We care about our health, and the list goes on. So you are all my people, and we are each other's people. Tribes exist on Survivor where people get kicked off, and let's not do that, right? That's not what we're going to be about. We literally and figuratively share common ground. So being here today as a representative of the ag community is pretty special. Suzanne mentioned I grew up on a farm in Breckinridge County. My parents still farm to this day there. And along with being raised on steak and garden green beans, I was raised on what I believe was grit and gratitude. And those are two values that our ag community is deeply rooted in, and I would love to share a little bit more about that today. So 2 weeks ago, I was with a friend and a national corn yield winner, Kevin Kalb. He's about from an hour away in DuBois County, Indiana, has been a routine national corn grow winner. And he stood on a stage with other corn winners from across our geography. And at first, Kevin couldn't speak. Now, for those of you that watch Corn Wars, you know this is not true of Kevin and Sean, his wife's personality. They're pretty big talkers. But you see, Kevin's cousin and his best friend Blake, Blake's a farmer and DeKalb corn dealer there in southern Indiana, had passed away just a few weeks before. And suicide was the cause, leaving behind a wife and 4 young children. And so Kevin, in my opinion, stood very courageously that day to share that he would be taking a phone call from any farmer in the room that just had a rough day and needed to talk to someone. And it's gut-wrenching to share that farming has the highest suicide rate of any occupational group. And this isn't something we in ag like to talk about. It's not comfortable. In agriculture, we tend to think that our DNA is made up of grit. We're hardworking. We persevere through anything. You can't stop us. The farm girl in me, I think, has made me gritty, and the farm kid in you, and many of you, has made you gritty. But those of us in agriculture know that since about 2014, that net farm profit story has not been the same of sometimes the story of nostalgia that we think about many, many years ago. Farm families have worked through extreme tough markets and abnormal weather events. Did you know that in 2019, we had a 124-year record when it came to moisture in North America? There's a spirit of grit in every farmer and every farm family that does what he or she does. We want to do a good job for a good job's sake and to steward the land in the time that we've been given, but grit's not unwavering. And it's not to be taken lightly. And so this spirit of grit that created and rooted us and the kids that we are to the adults we are today does not exist in isolation. So that is where the gratitude comes in. There's one thing I know about farmers. They're very quick to realize what is most important in life. When weather is the number one factor in much of what you do, you learn to stay humble and grateful. And while this is the core of a farmer, we must take it upon ourselves, those that aren't directly in production agriculture every single day, to say thank you. To say thank you for what you do. We live in a country with the safest, most abundant, most affordable food supply ever in history. That's remarkable, you all. That is absolutely remarkable. So remarkable, that means it's worth taking the time and the energy to comment about. So let me have the great honor of sharing or reminding you of the story of modern day agriculture. We are now producing 30% more with 30% less. Now, if I tried to factor that equation into my morning routine and I tried to do 30% more on 30% less coffee, it doesn't work out. I can tell you that right now. It seems impossible, but do you know what farmers do? They do the impossible. They say it's impossible or it's crazy until it's not, and they figure it out. We are winning in the fight to feed and clothe the world, and let us not forget that today. That is remarkable. So if you were a farmer in this room, and I know many of you, and you're going to come hunt me down that later, and that's fine. Just come find me. Go ahead and stand up. If you're a farmer in this room, go ahead and stand up. Thank you. No. I was almost going to make you keep standing, but go back to that comment around humility. They're like, and I'm going to sit down. If you are at a table with someone that stood up, I would ask you to not leave the room today without telling that person, thank you. Thank you for what you do. And that's exactly what my friend Kevin Kalb is urging us to do in our communities, to say thank you. Now, before I go any further, some of you in this room, you didn't grow up on a farm. You don't see a farm on a daily basis. That might be at a fall festival, or you might go pick strawberries, and that's the extent of it. And you are also some of the most gritty and grateful people. And do you remember those words, common ground? Well, the reason that you can value that in our farmers is because that's also a value to you. And so I thank you for celebrating those shared values with our farm families today. So I've been in Owensboro for about 4 years now. And what I see after living here is that we are in an exciting moment of culture to step in as both the agriculture and the city communities. The data is in. Disconnect exists. You'll see that in a lot of headlines. The loneliness epidemic, because people connect more with phones than they do other people. Generations are getting more disconnected and separated. People are disconnected from the land and farming and nature. But what is exciting about our opportunity here in Davis County, and this message is especially true for our next generation leaders. May you be wearing a blue and gold FFA coat this morning or something else. Is that we want to be leaders in our sphere of influence and to make connections. That's what it boils down to, you guys. Initiate to other human beings. Put down the gosh dang phone and meet the person behind the food that you consume every single day. Now, I go to a lot of meetings with my job, a lot of meetings. And you won't hear us complain about much in the ag community, except when we have to sit on our bottoms for long periods of times in meetings. Our friend Temple Grandin, she calls this butt fatigue. And so there you go. I've got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old in the room. They're like, well, Mom said it in a room, so we can go around and say it now. Sorry, I squashed all parenting credentials this morning. So I hope that you don't leave with butt fatigue this morning, but with a renewed mindset and a grateful heart. And here are a few things to take home with you. Number one, we all share common ground, literally and figuratively. Sometimes you have to do some digging to come to what that is, but fight the good fight to know our neighbors and find that shared common ground. Number two, grit in our farmers and grit in any other person. May it be your spouse, your boss, your sibling. It's not to be taken advantage of. Honor the gritty people in your life, which leads me to number three, tell a farmer thank you. And cultivate a life of gratitude. I once heard that George Bush Sr. wrote a thank you card every single day of his life, or many decades, took that on very early in life. And you know what happens whenever you do this, when you adopt that discipline? You look for it. You see it. When you're looking for someone to say thank you to every single day, it makes you have a grateful heart. And so I would say if you leave today and adopt that discipline, I would go home and add a farmer to your list of thank you cards to write. So just today, our world's population grew by 200,000 people. It's a leap year. We added on an extra day. So we don't need to keep these farmers in this room. They've got work to do. You have 200,000 more people to feed today. So, that just another day in the life of many of our farmers. I especially want to thank the FFA members. If you guys could stand up, or if you're standing up right now, go ahead and wave. FFA members, would you stand up? And your ag teachers as well. I know for me, I would not be standing here today professionally doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be comfortable speaking to you. Those mean old ag teachers, you guys, that make you practice and give the speech again and give the speech again and tell you not to sound like a robot, but then to tell you to sound more professional, and all that feedback they give you, it's worth it. And it makes you more comfortable over and over time. So keep building the relationships that you're doing. And as my dean at Murray State University, Dr. Tony Brannon, go Racers, always said, you're not just getting a degree, you're getting an education. So don't just graduate from high school, get an education. And doing the things that you're doing today is a part of getting an education. And to everyone in the room, we've got to keep building our common ground. I'm excited to live in this community. I'm with anticipation and hope of all the things that are going to take place, especially as our next generation takes on the pursuit of finding common ground. Thank you all for having me this morning.
Thank you very much. You were talking about being a farm girl and a farm kid and talking about grit and gratitude. And I thought, I have a farm kid, but she's full of grit and attitude. So we're working. We're working on that, aren't we? She's giving me a glare. I will say, I didn't grow up, even though I was Miss Madeline No-Till. I didn't know what that meant either, Tina. It's okay. I do now. But I didn't have the pleasure of growing up on a farm. But I did get to take field trips as a kid. I can remember in kindergarten, my mother still has a picture of me milking a cow in hand, and you can see the milk going. It's like my favorite picture ever. You all are helping kids like me who don't grow up on farms. You are bridging that gap between the ag community and those of us who maybe aren't as fortunate to be involved there. So thank you for doing that. I think that puts some of you out of your comfort zone, and I think maybe you're bringing other people in, but you all are doing that, and you're educating all of us, and it's really important. And I know that my grit and attitude back there will have on a blue and yellow jacket one day, and that's very important. The things that the ag community really installs in yourselves, in your children, and in our children who don't grow up on the farms are really something that's so invaluable. So thank you for doing that. I'm very proud that I have a farm girl and she she loves it. And I know that the lessons that she's taking right now in life are going to lead her through. So please know that we appreciate you and that we see you and we see the work that you're doing and we see the changes that are being made in all of us because of how you live and how you work. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here and sharing with us at the Chamber. I do have to thank a few more people before we leave. Matt Robbins and the Davis County High School for hosting us here. We appreciate you. You're such a great partner. You're so easy to work with. Oh, yeah. Sorry, we're not leaving yet. I was ready to leave. Y'all, we're not ready to leave yet. But while I'm thanking, I want to thank, too, Chad Askins and Jason Smith, who are the ag teachers who have been a big help to us. So thank you. I got excited. Okay. I need Clint to come up. Clint Hardy, of course, he's Chamber Ag Committee member, also Extension Agent, Davis County Cooperative Extension, for the presentation of the Farm City Humanitarian Award. Sorry, I tried to skip you, Clint. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Jacqueline. It is a privilege serving on this Chamber Committee to facilitate this event each year and the other activities that take place. It's an opportunity, a privilege to present this award. Taking back 12 years, you see on there that it's a 12-year award. 2009 is the first year it was presented. And we came together after that 2009 ice storm as a community and witnessed just an outpouring of generosity and support and watching out for your neighbor through that process. And through discussion on the committee, it really inspired the idea of this humanitarian award. You know, countywide, city, rural, urban, local, county communities across the board, we are a very blessed community filled with wonderful people. So before I introduce this year's award recipient, I want to recognize that each of you know a person that steps out a little bit, goes above and beyond, not just for his business or his or her business or their family, but to go out and watch out for others, watch out for their neighbors, contribute, give back, be active, and willing to take time away from their immediate needs, personal needs, to help others. And so each of you know a person like that, and we want this list to just continue to grow. So speak with me, speak with any of the Candace, Joan, anybody on the committee, and we want to keep this award going, but we don't want it to be just an in-house committee decision. We want to have people we don't know, but you know, recognized. This year's recipient is a person who I've known my whole life, really come to know him very well through my career, but got to know him very well through local community sports. Greg Shadler is the 2020 Farm City Humanitarian Award winner. Greg is a person who I've witnessed give back and take away time from his personal interest to personal business to dedicate time to the community through his service on the St. Joe Volunteer Fire Department. Served on that fire department for 35 years down there, and you all know what volunteer means. He's not reimbursed for that. It is a camaraderie. It is an opportunity to fellowship with other members of that community. But ultimately, Greg and his leadership, now as serving as captain down there, puts forth a tremendous amount of time and puts himself in harm's way occasionally to watch out for his neighbors and for others in the community. But the community sports is where I really became impressed with Greg. You all know baseball season, youth baseball season takes place in April, May, and June. 3 busy months for a grain farm. We went down, my son started playing ball, and I began to witness Greg's leadership and volunteerism through the sports down there, serving as a coach for many years, serving as an umpire, coming out to Stanley or the other West County ballparks, participating in the opportunity to take time away from his farm, watching planters go up and down Highway 60 or up and down Highway 56. He was out there in that ball field taking time to provide an opportunity for young people in our community to get out of their home, get away from their computer, get active in a sport, get out in the sunshine, learn what competition is about. And I watched him over and over and over take time away coming down there to that ball field to help with that. I was in the concession stand several nights at the conclusion of the night, 10 o'clock at night, everybody ready to go home. I saw Greg a few times, refuse that per diem or that stipend. He was just there because he loved those kids and wanted to help them grow. So then that's the big picture. But then I mentioned everyone knows a person who just watches out for their neighbor, keeps an eye on things. And I had that experience with Greg and his brother Frank. A few years ago, my dad was putting ammonia down for corn, got in a turn on the slope, flipped the wagon over. He called me, said, bring some chains. 30 minutes, I was out. Frank and his brother Greg, they were already there. Had 2 tractors, got that wagon back on its wheels. Dad didn't call them. They just saw that there was an issue, neighbor they could help out. They jumped down there and did it. And that's what this award's about. There's been some great names recognized through this process, and there's many more in the community. So I'm going to invite Greg up to receive this award this morning. He was here. He hadn't slipped out, I hope. There you go. Come on up, Greg. We appreciate you.
I can make little speeches too. But I just appreciate that I can get out in the community and help people, and I just strive to be a good neighbor to all my neighbors in our area, and I appreciate this award. It could be anybody up here. I mean, there's a lot of people that's probably more deserving than I am, but I sure do appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, Clint talks about him helping at the baseball and softball games. Y'all, he will pick up a kid that has just tried to hit off the tee, carry them to first base, throw them off at second base. He was my favorite ump to heckle. I mean, I would yell some things, and he would turn around and say, nobody cares what you think. I mean, the best. So, very kind and giving. No, always my favorite ump, always. I think I'm good now, right? I tried to get y'all to leave earlier. I apologize. Again, thank y'all so much for being here. When we say that we appreciate you, I hope that you feel that and that you know that. On behalf of the chamber, if we can ever do anything to assist you or to partner with you on anything or just to talk with you about what we have going on in relation to ag, please stop by the office. Give us a call. You can get with Rod. He'll get you connected with us for sure. But we'd love to talk with y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Davis County Farm Bureau for being such a great partner. We appreciate you all, and we'll see you again next year.